Over the last few years, there's been one book that more people have recommended to me than any other. I finally read it, and I'll talk about it today on Casting Across. Hi, I'm Matthew of castingacross.com, where I explore the quarry and culture of fly fishing. From where I stand, I am about 6 miles to the southern entrance of the Shenandoah National Park. I've been down here spending time with my family, my extended family, a wonderful week of time outside, including a lot of fishing for both bass and for trout. And I brought along a book with me, and that book is A Fly Fisherman's Blue Ridge by Christopher Camuto. This book came out in 1990, and it takes place literally right here. There's a stream that kind of serves as his base of operations, his home waters, if you will, and it's about 10 miles to the north, and it is the North Fork of the Mormons River. And one of the great things about reading this book was that time and time again, over this last week, I'd read about something in the morning, and then I'd find myself there, even in a place I'd never been before, over on the west side of the Shenandoah National Park. We ended up there for a picnic, and it's precisely where I'd been reading about. Or I'd go fishing somewhere with my son, and that night, he would talk about that stream. It was a really fun thing to do, and I'm glad I saved this book for this week. But before we get more into why this book is special to me, let's talk about what it is. It starts off like most standard fly fishing literature. It is one man's experience and reflections on those experiences of his time on the water. But it's exceptionally well done. It was a real great read, kind of refreshing after kind of reading a lot of the same kind of books over and over again. But about halfway through, he starts to insert some really interesting things. It doesn't radically shift the book, but for example, he has a good chunk of a chapter where he talks about the fishing experience from the trout's perspective. He has a chapter that's historical fiction. He has a chapter where he is really delving into the scientific data, which is almost like a left-hand turn from his experiences on the water, until you come to realize that this is precisely why he is fishing. This is an integrated aspect of his love for the rivers and for the ecosystems in which they exist. And so he kind of breaks from the mold of a normal fly fishing memoir. So it's been a really, really good read. I didn't fly through it, but I read through it relatively quickly, any opportunity that I had over this last week. Now, again, for me, this was a great book because, again, written in 1990, I started fly fishing in probably 95 and 96, and so many of the rivers, both on the east slope and the west slope of the Shenandoah National Park, and then further north in the Blue Ridge into Pennsylvania, south into the Carolinas, are rivers that I didn't just fish when I was a teenager, but I fished in the years since. It's amazing how many experiences he had that overlapped with me. Even late nights in Bears on a particular river just west of where I am right now. And so this was a real fun book for me. And this is one of the things that I like about fly fishing. Now, this is true in any sort of activity, any sort of aspect of life, but particularly in fly fishing, there's just only so many people that do it and only so many ways you can experience it. So although I've loved reading books about people fishing in Europe and out on the West Coast and up in Alaska and down in tropical locations that I may visit time here and there, I have been just privileged to read countless books about men and women who have fished precisely where I have fished and had very, very similar experience that I have had. And I think that A Fly Fisherman's Blue Ridge might have the most overlap, or at bare minimum might dovetail more to my experiences than anything else that I've ever read. And there's a good chance there's a book like that for you in fly fishing. And it's just worth exploring and reading more and more. I mean, here I am nearly 30 years into fly fishing, and I'm just reading it for the first time. It's always been there. Other people have recommended that I read it, but I just now read it, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did it here, and I'm glad that I did it now. So if there is a book that kind of fits this niche for you, I'd love to hear it, where you are, what that book is, and how they came together. Let me know in the comments below, or of course, send it to me. This book is something I saw, but I didn't read it until you prompted me to do so. So I really appreciate it. Thanks. So let me know what that book is for you, and then head over to castingacross.com for 3 posts a week on the people, places, and things that go into the pursuit of fish.